Welcome, everybody. My name is Kim Peelman, and I'm the product owner for Gen. I'm joined today by my colleague, Olga Schiller, a customer support engineer for Gen. Today, we're here to discuss continuous adoption. Our goal is to help you keep your Gen installation up to date so you get the most out of the product. Olga, let's start things off with the basics. What version of Gen is currently supported?
Currently, only the Gen 8.6 versions are supported. Seems like just yesterday, but Gen 8.5 expired June of 2021.
Wow,
That
time
was
does fly.
that was quite a while ago.
Mm-hmm. So when I see things like PAX level 2111 or consolidation 8.6.3, are those changing what versions are supported or what minor versions are supported?
No, we support all the minor versions of Gen 8.6. The original version 8.6 GA level zeros was published in June 2016. 7 years, quite a long time ago, Kim. I'm wondering, is Gen ever going to have a new release like a Gen 8.7 or 9.0 or something like that?
It's a good question. I'm sure that someday we will. There's a lot of things that can influence that decision. First and foremost, we're just listening to what customers are asking for. All the customers I've talked to so far say pretty adamantly, please don't give us another major release. We would rather just work with PTFs and stay up to date that way. But that could change. Also, there could be a technical change, like a schema update or an architecture change or new hardware that's not compatible. In cases like that, the engineering team tends to recommend that we package it as a major release. Similarly, there could be a significant change in the user experience. Maybe product management says, hey, let's make a new release to help customers distinguish between the old version and the new version. So, a lot of different factors there.
Lately, Gen has been publishing some really big features like offering CSC on Linux and the multiple enhancements for consuming REST APIs. Why haven't those features called for like a new version number?
You're right. Those are some very big features, and they have a lot of value to other customers, but they didn't impact the architecture of Gen. So, under a continuous delivery model, they don't require a new version number. CSE on Linux is a new installation. Technically, it got a new version number 8.6.3, but there's no need to version up all the Gen modules. It's not even a new SKU. Everyone who already has CSE for Windows or Unix automatically has CSE for Linux. Then you asked about the REST API enhancements. Yeah, they required some changes to the toolset, runtime, but all those changes could be delivered to customers as PTFs. So they just lay on top of Gen 8.6. The enhancements don't significantly change the pre existing functionality in Gen.
I don't quite understand the point of continuous delivery. I mean, if Gen ain't broke, why wouldn't customers just stick with their basic version 8.6 and wait until a new version release before making any updates?
Well, continuous delivery has many benefits. For one, it means that Broadcom can publish enhancements as soon as it's ready, which accelerates when customers can gain the value from the enhancements. It's also proven that smaller changes are lower risk to customers and Broadcom. When you're testing as a more narrow scope, your use cases aren't overlooked. It's clear what areas are impacted. Applying changes is less complex. Explaining those changes to your users is simpler. Now, it does mean you have to test more often, which is why automation is so important. Ultimately, more testing and smaller changes ensures that your changes are low risk. And this is what's important to our customers. Nobody wants defects slipping through the cracks and impacting your business. You want to be really clear what changes are being made.
But what about customers who aren't really interested in any of these enhancements? Wouldn't they just wait for the next big release?
Well, I want to reiterate the power of small changes. When you wait for that major release before you update your Gen installation, you're making your next upgrade way more complex, which brings risk. It's like doing regular maintenance on your house versus waiting until everything is super old. It's much harder to keep everything running and keep living in that house if you're making major updates all over. But if you just change one room at a time, you can still live there and you can have a nice house while you're doing it. But still, if that doesn't motivate you, then security should. Nefarious actors are always finding new ways to infiltrate the business. And Broadcom stays ahead of this with security scanning of every code build. This results in continuously improved code delivered in security maintenance, as well as updates of third party software delivered with Gen. Technical currency increases your security. Cyber threats are continuous, which is why you need to have continuous adoption model to keep your Gen installation up to date and secure.
This all makes a lot of sense, and it sure does send a powerful message. But tell me, how is continuous delivery different from incremental release? Wait, did Broadcom just change the name?
Well, sort of. When Broadcom acquired CA Technologies, one of the first things they did was interview customers to find out what we can improve. With interviews of hundreds of customers, some themes came out of it. In the category of maintenance, we heard three things repeatedly. One, hey guys, stop saying incremental release. Everyone else says continuous delivery. That's what you're really doing. So, yeah, we just changed the name. But we've also been improving on the process. So, the second request from customers was, can you separate your defects and your enhancements? That makes your changes even smaller and lets us know what we're putting in and lets us choose what we need urgently versus what could wait. The third thing was, hey, we don't mind installing PTFs, but I need those enhancements turned off so I can apply the PTF, but decide later when to turn the enhancement on because I'm going to need to train my users. Those big things are what Broadcom implemented first, but we've continued to have these conversations and we've continued to improve. You're going to see things like improvements to documentation, more detailed step by step instructions, more consistency across our products, and overall just simplification of the maintenance with automation, modern tools, and education. This has been a very key focus area for Broadcom. I'll show you what I mean. This is the Gen Edge community. I want to point out the helpful links over here. First section is all about support. So we're here to help you. We've got support portal, technical documentation, blogs, a LinkedIn group. Then we've got quick links for the installation and maintenance stuff. So upgrading to 8.6, this is the product download. And then once you're upgraded, staying up to date with your mainframe and your distributed PTFs.
I get how we want customers to continuously adopt each new PTF, but how will they know when a new one's published?
I've been hearing that question a lot. And the Broadcom team is working on getting email notifications set up so customers can just sign up for it. But in the meantime, our Gen engineering manager, Shiva, has volunteered to post a weekly community thread that lists out when there are new PTFs. And we did that because the community has email notifications. So if you sign up for the email notifications, you will see when he posts the list of new PTFs. Let me show you. I go to threads and I can see the Gen published PTFs, continuous delivery of value, posted by Shiva. You can see he has multiple replies because he just keeps putting all the information in this one thread. The thread starts with an explanation of what we're doing and why we're doing it because customers asked for an email notifications. And when he posts every week the new PTFs, then you get an email notification that has a list of PTFs in it and it's got links directly to it. So you can go easily install it.
Nice. Now, how do these how do our customers sign up for these email notifications?
At the top of your Gen Edge community, there's a settings button. In here, you can see you're a member and what notifications you're getting. Click on Manage Notifications. There's kind of a lot going on this page, so I'll just scroll down here and show you. You've got your Gen Edge community. I like to get my emails in real time, but you can pick what works for you. And then I like to include it in my consolidated daily digest. So you check or uncheck in this column and it'll include Gen. And so if you have multiple products that you're a member of, then what the community will do is it'll put all of them all in one consolidated daily or weekly digest.
That's good. That's cool. Simple enough. But now, what if someone isn't a member of the community yet? How do they get signed up?
Well, since I'm already a member, it's hard for me to show you right here, so I went ahead and made a slide for you. So first, you've got your community.broadcom.com. And if you haven't registered yet, you'll need to register. If you have, you just sign in. It's in the top right corner. Then you're going to search for the Gen Edge community, or here's a link, and you guys can download this PowerPoint to get the links. And once you get to the Edge community, instead of that settings button, you'll see a join community button. And once you join the community, it'll all be in your My Community section. So if you have multiple products that you're a member of, they're all going to be in that list for you, so you don't have to search for them every time. Okay, now that we've covered how to use the Gen community and get notifications, as well as the quick links to the PTFs, Olga, can you tell us how a customer knows which PTFs they already have installed?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Gen is a hybrid product, meaning it has mainframe and distributed modules. I'm going to start by showing you something that I learned recently called PTF list, and you can access it through the SysView Mainframe Essentials menu under the Software Risk Assessment. This is something that anybody that is a Broadcom customer can get access to. And if you type PTF list and you have a form set up, you define in the form lib the FMID and the CSI. And with just that information, it will go and retrieve what is available, and it displays what you have applied. You page right, it shows you all the PTFs that have been applied, the dates that they were applied. There's more information to the right. But primarily what I wanted to show you is this status right here. If you have not received a PTF, it will also show you that if this is successful. And then you have the list of everything that's been applied. And this is a list relative to the FMID CEG 6860. If I change it, you can change it to another one. And this is within the same CSI. It'll show you the list of those. And in this case, this defect is a high risk. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you on the PTF list.
Interesting. I didn't even realize it identified the risk levels. That's pretty cool. So that's on the mainframe side, but what about the distributed side? How do those customers know what PTFs they have installed?
On the distributed side, I would start with the maintenance log. It'll be under a Gen 8.6 folder called PTF Backups. And if you open up your maintenance log, That lists out all ETFs that you have applied on your Windows. And I'll give you an example. Like right here, I've got an 86304 that I installed in January. If I want to come current, what I do is I go to, from the Gen Edge, I would go to my complete solution downloads for distributed, which takes me to that window that I just had up. I go through and look for my generators for the tool set, and I was at 86304 last, so I would start there. And that date is consistent with when I applied after that date, so all of these were published after my install date. So I would start with this one, and I see that this one's superseded by this one, and this one is superseded by this one up here. So I'd end up coming all the way up to this one, and I'd download this and install from this point and bring myself current.
Oh, so now because you install things in order, you were looking at the date to kind of help you, and it made it real easy to see where you're at. Technically, looking at the prereqs, they could install these in any order they want. So
This is
they
true.
don't have to go by date like you did. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. So, the Gen continuous delivery model lets customers, well, if the customers are doing continuous adoption, lets them keep up with their PTFs. What about those that haven't kept up with a bunch and maybe they're way behind? Maybe they haven't installed any since 8.6 in 2016. What would those customers do when you just have a couple, but what if they have a ton that they need to install?
Well, what we've done for on the distributed side is we've got something we call consolidation. You come up here. We have two consolidations here. 8.6 complete PTF WKS 86200. And then we have an 8.6.3 consolidation, which was the WKS 86300 PTF. What this does is it'll bring you current up to these particular publishing dates. So complete was published on August 2019, consolidated the 8.6.3, the latest one was published on July of 2022. So it'll pick you up to that point in time. And they'll
And then you just put the other
automatically,
ones on top of it. That makes sense.
yep, anything you're missing, you would put on top.
Okay. Is there any other maintenance that you recommend for customers who are on 8.6?
I would highly recommend if they're not going to do anything to become more current, they should at least look at the security maintenance PTFs. And you can see them identified right here. And if you want, if you do a control F, you can type in security and it'll jump you. I mean, it'll find and you can jump to all the security maintenance. When a security PTF is published, Broadcom also publishes a security advisory. You can sign up for email notifications of these security advisories. We've put a link in the appendix of the slides so y'all can download it and find it easily. Kim, you want to show them how to sign up for those security notifications?
Gladly. Page, a lot of products on here. If you search for Gen, you're still going to get a lot of products because they might have GEN in their name. But just scroll on down and you'll find just us, just Gen, and sign up for the notifications. There's a lot of different types. I recommend just signing up for all of them. But it's looking at critical alerts, product advisories, release announcements, security advisories, legal notices, and hopefully we'll eventually have one to sign up for notifications of new PTFs. But that's fine. We'll use the community until then, but you guys are going to want to sign up for these so you get security advisory notices.
That seems simple enough. this is all great for people who are on Gen 8.6, but I know we have some people who are still on version 8.5, which expired in June 2021. Tim, do you think you can tell them about upgrading to Gen 8.6?
Gladly. So there are lots of ways to get to the page where you're going to download Gen 8.6, but I like to use the community. Like I showed you before, we've got those quick links there. So it goes directly to your support portal with your Gen 8.6 product downloads. Now, in my view, you see a lot of options, but customers, you're just going to see products that you have licenses for. Still might be a lot, but it's not all this. Here's what you need to keep in mind. For the distributed platforms, there's an installation 8.6. So let's look here for the tool set. 8.6, level 0. This was published back in 2016. It's been out there a long time. Please get up to date to 8.6. Now, we recently published CSE on Linux. So come down here. This is Encyclopedia Server option for Linux. You'll see that says 8.6.3. We did that because that includes all the consolidations that Olga told you about. So it has the stuff from 2016 plus everything through 2023 when we published CSE on Linux. For your mainframe pieces, let me open up this guy. You're going to see two options. You don't need to install them both. What you're looking at is Service Pack 2210. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Notice the name of this file. It says ZOSMF. ZOSMF is from IBM. It stands for the ZOS Management Facility. It's the new industry standard for all mainframe installations. Because of that, Broadcom has retired Chorus CSM. We retired it in June of 2023. It's no longer supported. Now, if you don't have ZOSMF yet, you can use level 2111 for your SMPE manual installation. So open this back up. This guy, and you click on it. That is the one that's been out there for a while. We've upgraded it some, but it is what you can use your SMPE for. That's kind of a lot of information. So I made this handy dandy chart for you. So in this chart, you can see the base version of 8.6 was released in June of 2016. We have recently released a new version with CSE on Linux. It has everything in that 2016 base version, plus the related PTFs through June 2023. That's why we called it 8.6.3. On the mainframe side, we've updated the base installation a couple of times, but it's still just 8.6, but we've got level 2.1111. So all your PTFs are included in there up to CARS level 2.1111. That's the correlation there, is the CARS level that you're at. And if you are going to use ZOSMF, we published a new version called 2210, and that's through CARS 2210. So you can see that you're getting the more recent stuff. So if you're on 8.5 trying to move to 8.6, just pick the latest one and decide if you're using SMPE or if you're using ZOSMF. Now, Broadcom is providing a lot of support for adopting ZOSMF. It's an IBM product, but it's going to be used to install Broadcom product. So we're doing a ton of stuff. Like we have a migration tool. We have the expert change planning program where we'll help you. We have a software toolkit plugin for the mainframe essentials offering. All of that's available to customers at no additional cost. We're really putting a lot of our own investment in just making sure that mainframe maintenance gets simpler. Let's see if I have this sorted out. If I'm on Gen 8.5, I'm out of support and I need to get on version 8.6. After I've installed Gen 8.6, I'll use the consolidation PTFs to catch up on my distributed systems. And on my mainframe systems, I'll have the usual CARS report to identify PTFs and receive order to obtain them. Then I'll implement continuous adoption model. So I'll just keep up with PTFs as they're published. This is beneficial because small changes are easier to manage, lower risk, and keep my applications secure.
Kim, you summed that up perfectly. One more thing to add for customers on 8.5 is, I don't know if you know this, but you can upgrade to Gen 8.6 and keep your models on 8.5. That way you can slowly phase them in. 8.6 is backwards compatible, and you can convert those models in phases. So you don't have to change everything all at once.
That's great to hear. Again, one more thing I just thought of is what happens when customers are on a version even older than 8.5? Can they still do everything we just said about jumping to 8.6?
This can get complicated, so it's really going to depend on how old of a version they're on. And does their toolset schema match their model? And what version of the encyclopedia are they on? And so on and so on. Many questions would need to be answered. Rather than go there, let me show you just some helpful resources. There is a new program. This is called Expert Change Planning. On the website here is a form where you can submit your request for help. It doesn't limit you to just upgrades. It can help with any big change, like adoptions of APIs or moving your CSC from HP to Linux or adopting ZOSMF. Second, there are some very experienced service providers that specialize in Gen upgrades. One of our Gen partners is Facet. We also have a reseller agreement with Response Systems for a product called Upgrade Console. Upgrade Console is specifically designed to identify what you need to upgrade in Gen. It eliminates any mystery and prevents problems. And finally, you have the Broadcom support team, the team I'm on. In your support portal, you just submit a ticket with your questions and we help find answers.
And you're so good at that. Thank you. Oh, but wait a minute. I thought that if customers are on an unsupported version, they can't submit support tickets because it's not supported.
That is true. But we will always support an upgrade question. This is the only type of question we support for expired versions of Gen.
Yay. Thank you, Olga. That is such great information. All right. Let's wrap things up here. Remember, everybody, all the Broadcom products, including Gen, are moving to a continuous delivery model. That's smaller deliverables with tons of benefits like low risk, accelerated value, continuous support, and increased security. But it only works that way if you're also on a continuous adoption model. We have many avenues to help you. Olga just listed off a lot that can help you with your upgrade. But we also have these assets like the Gen Edge community, where there's quick links to support, downloads, and training, and you can sign up for email notifications so that you know when there are new PTFs. We recently revitalized the Edge group on LinkedIn, posting there multiple times a week, and it's easily accessible from your mobile device. We have blogs on Medium, and we even have a monthly newsletter. So just email me if you want to be added. Thank you very much.